James Kirk. I own 5, soon to be 6 properties in Lyon County. I've been in touch with many of you about the internet situation we have in Palisades, which is none. I am the Executive Vice President of America's largest internet provider for my job. I'm not representing them here today. They don't do business in this area, but I can't work at home because I don't have high enough speed internet to do my businesses. I represent about 200 people, including Holiday Hills and a whole bunch of other folks that have signed a petition. I moved here first in 2015, and we haven't had internet now, coming up on 10 years. For a while, we had it from T-Mobile, but then the tornado damaged their tower, so we don't have that anymore. I know the prior administration may have given some money to Fastnet to build our subdivision. They have not. The way fiber works is it's got to be attached to a telephone pole, which are owned by Pennyrile, so they're not going to let Fastnet connect to those poles. Or you can bury it. Fastnet tried to bury it and discovered what the word Palisades means, which is rock. They got nowhere. They tore up a whole bunch of yards and just left. So I've talked to the CEO of Pennyrile, I've talked to the CEO of Hopkinsville Electric. They're all willing to build internet to us in Palisades, especially because their meters are there and they want to automate electric meters. So I guess I'm asking, is there anything that can be done to get the money back from Fastnet, since they didn't do what they promised to do, and give it to Pennyrile?
So the money that was given to Fastnet is by contract, just the same with Pennyrile and Hopkinsville Rural Electric. So no, the money cannot be taken back from Fastnet. If you'll give me just a second, Lee, I have that packet on my desk to address it.
I know, Mr. Cummins, you came over to my house once and talked to my wife when I wrote you about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you.
Yeah, my wife's a college professor and she tries to teach from home and she can't do that either, so.
So I know originally, and Pennyrile, is anyone here from Pennyrile?
I had a whole group of people here on Thursday, but then we found out the meeting every Wednesday, so we kind of screwed that up.
So originally Pennyrile was not going to come over Eddy Creek. They were not going to come across that bridge. And so Fastnet was doing Palisades. And then Pennyrile thought that they would come across the creek if they got the money from the state to be able, because it's a matching, so they get so much and Pennyrile will match. So Fastnet had moved off. Then Pennyrile come back when I came into office and said that they were not going to get any funding for that area because they said it was already serviced. Whether that was wireless or whoever it was, Starlink, T-Mobile, etc. So Pennyrile said they were not going to do that area because they could not get funding for it. Fastnet had already started, I think, on Log Cabin, Lisenby, in that area, so they went ahead and finished or went over to Palisades and started working. I'm not exactly sure how many houses they have left to hook up, but they've done a majority of it there.
In Palisades?
In
They haven't
Palisades.
done any. There's no fiber in their terminals. They dug for a while, but they couldn't run the fiber. So they have zero homes in Palisades.
When I talked to Alan Gates, who I think you spoke to as well, Alan currently, as of July 12th, is not coming over Eddy Creek because they cannot get any funding for it because the state shows it as being served. Now, if the broadband map changes, the bead map, there may be additional funding opportunities if that changes, but even with the way it stands right now, they cannot put anything there without funding it 100% themselves, and they could not do that. So I wish Alan was here to kind of talk about the Pennyrile side, because obviously he knows more about it.
So a lot of us challenged the broadband map 2 months ago. We found we couldn't, none of us could get anything above 100, which is the borderline. Some of us have Zito, and they were about 30 or so when that word worked, which was not bad. So we did submit the challenge, but I didn't know if Fastnet is to continue to be paid for that. Is there a contract of serviceability or performance that says, we gave you this money, we expect you to build this many homes, how many have you built? Is there anything like that in the contract?
There is.
Do we know how
But
many?
that's across the whole county, that's not just that area. And they met that threshold for the second payment, yes, sir.
Okay.
But if I can remember back when they first started, don't they have a contract to finish Palisades?
They will fit, it's part of, I guess, there's not an individual contract for each community or area of the county. So what they have done, they will finish. I mean, that'll obviously come back before the court for, if there's an issue there, but yes. But each area doesn't have its own contract from that company.
The problem is they started to build it and then they hit rock. And I'm in this business and I know they can't get around that. So the only way to get around it is get up on the poles. And that's with a pole attachment agreement. And that's about $160 per pole. And Payroll is not gonna grant that. They don't have to. They have to take it under advisement, but they're, why would they?
It's just the same as KU. KU's not putting anything on pole. KU's not putting any internet.
Yeah, so Payroll didn't wanna cross the bridge while the telephone poles were like this from the tornado, if you remember. Now they put new poles up.
Well, the original contract with Penny Round, that they was not gonna come across any creek.
Yeah, but now they're willing to because their new poles are up, the new tall telephone poles. So they have the capacity, they're just waiting for money. Is there anyway, I'm just asking if there's additional funding coming up from the state or anything that could help us, I really appreciate it.
The state just opened the broadband funding, and I'm looking to apply for that as well to help the county.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Hello?
My name is Matt Lindsay from Resident Foods. You all here?
Okay, you're at exit 45,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes.
Can I put you with the ordinance at that time, will that work?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Can I move him to that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, will that work? That way it's just for that topic,
Yeah,
and
it's
we're right
all-
there together.
Yep.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Any other public comment? All right, you should have a copy of the minutes from July 11th. And I will entertain a motion to accept those as printed.
So moved.
We have a motion by Bobby and a second by Quinn. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. All right, you should have a copy of the first reading of the budget amendment. And I have the budget codes if you all have any questions in regards to which codes are which. Clerk, you do show that Jeff Fowler has it, correct? Yes.
Move to approve the budget.
This will be the first reading of Lyon County, Kentucky ordinance number 09/2024, a budget amendment ordinance. I will be reading this ordinance in a summary form only. A complete copy of this ordinance is available in the office of the Lyon County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Lyon County, Kentucky Fiscal Court Ordinance number 2024-09 is an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the County of Lyon has received unbudgeted revenues from miscellaneous sources be ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Lyon as follows. Under Section 1, the budget for fiscal year 24-25 is amended to Sub A, increase the receipts of the General Road Jail House Bill 577 DOJ asset forfeiture and ARPA funds by $1,507,604.21 to include unbudgeted receipts from surplus from prior year, donation to county, and other surplus from prior year. We're also going to increase the expenditure accounts in a like amount. Section 2, the amounts adjusting the receipt expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes. This has been the first reading of Lyon County, Kentucky ordinance number 09/2024, a budget amendment ordinance.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. Oh. Okay, Lee says I have to do roll call. Bobby? Yes. Lee
Yes.
says I have to do roll call.
Yes.
Quinn?
Yes.
Myself, yes, and Jeff Fowler is absent. Motion. All right, we have, you should have a copy of the Lyon County Extension Office tax rate. They are taking the compensating rate. So their compensating for real property is 3.8 and personal property is 6.65. Their motor vehicle is 3.10. So I will entertain a motion to accept their tax rates as provided. Motion by Quinn, second by Bobby. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. All right, you should have a copy of the Lyon County Library 2024 tax rate. And you should also have some from their last meeting, their minutes, shows their ongoing programs, how many they've had meetings wise and their services. Etc. And I had a good turnout today, wish I could have been there for, David Nickel that talked about LBO. And they are taking the compensating rate as well, 3.6 real property, 4.59 personal property, and 3.50 motor vehicle. So, I'll entertain a motion to accept the rates as printed. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye.
Did you entertain a motion?
Sure, I make a motion, I apologize. Yes, I make a motion. And Quinn second. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. Okay, Matt. I'll let you come, yes.
So, Matt Wood from Resident Foods, wanted to just comment on the cannabis ordinance that's being discussed. I'm an owner and a partner in Resident Foods here in Lyon County. We're an existing hemp production business. We've been operating since September 2018 here, right in the, what used to be the car museum. Steadily growing our business, just kind of, it's been a lot of hard work, kind of keeping it going over the last 5 years, but we're in a pretty good place. And, you know, with that hard work and honest dealing, we've gotten a reputation in the industry, kind of across the U.S. of being straight shooters, doing what we say we'll do. You know, we are considering applying for a tier 2 cultivation license, with the, marijuana, medical marijuana, licensing that's coming out now. That's a 10,000 square foot cultivation space indoors. We understand from the state that existing hemp businesses are being prioritized in that licensing discussion, especially if they're, well-known and been operating for many years. As it stands, the licensing application deadline is at the end of this month. and that'll cost us about $20,000 to apply, non-refundable. So we just wanted to kind of be here to comment and just see what the discussion was and kind of put our word in. You know, we understand that, you know, obviously if the county opts out, we wouldn't have the opportunity to do that, or if it goes to a ballot in November, potentially, if we did win, we wouldn't be able to operate on our property. We're by no means dependent on getting that license. We're an existing business. It would really just be, you know, because of our reputation with the Department of Agriculture, our farming network, some, you know, quite a few farmers around the state that work with us. We see it as an opportunity to grow our business and the jobs and economic activity that's associated with it here in Lyon County. We believe our facility would add about 10 to 20 jobs over the course of the next several years as we start to expand and more capacity grows. And just a few comments about, you know, medical cannabis in general. You know, we believe that, you know, it's coming to Kentucky regardless, obviously, and we see it as an opportunity for Lyon County to benefit from the economic activity that's associated with it. Obviously, some counties will be opting in, some will not. The licensing is very limited. If the county does permit medical cannabis businesses, there would only be one dispensary. We are not going for a dispensary, we're just a production company. We would just be looking for cultivation. Across the state, there will be only 16 cultivation licenses. We're not aware of anybody in Lyon County otherwise that would be going for cultivation. It's, as I said, strictly indoors and fully enclosed in one of our existing buildings. As you may know, medical cannabis is one of the most highly regulated industries in the world. The standards will be for security and safety and environmental controls extremely high. Perimeter lighting, 24/7 video surveillance, alarm monitoring, SOPs for inventory control, track and trace, product handling, labeling, diversion prevention, and others. The sales only go to, you know, cardholder patients with medical conditions verified by a doctor and that need relief that cannabis can provide. And, you know, many believe that legalization is the best way to eradicate the illicit market and replace it with a regulated market that cares about safety and security. Evidence continues to demonstrate that legalization states have not seen an increase in crime rates, and in some cases, legalization has even led to a reduction in crime. And lastly, on that point, you know, states and counties that have legalized cannabis have actually seen a decrease in alcohol and opiate abuse. And I've got the sources for all these things. I'd be happy to email if you're interested. That's really all of my comments. I think, you know, for us, like I said, it's our business is dependent on it, but we see it as an opportunity for us in the county, and just wanted to, you know, bring it to everybody's attention that we're here and we'd like to expand and do that, and just see kind of where the conversation goes. All right.
Any questions for him?
Man, we talked on the phone Friday. How many employees would you have if the county, if this was a go for you? How many additional employees would you hire?
So additional would be, assuming we keep the 6 that we currently have, we immediately add 4, and then we expect that the capacity would go up to 20 total, so 14 additional in addition to 6. And then we have 8 seasonal laborers now that come through, you know, seasonally as well. So that's kind of the whole capacity.
Do you all raise your own hemp now? Do you raise your, or y'all just process?
We contract with primarily tobacco farmers around here, Hopkinsville, Murray area.
But you don't currently raise the hemp, you just process, right?
We technically own it, but we do work in the fields, but we don't own the ground.
Okay.
It's under their licenses. We do have a grow license, and we'll grow sometimes in our, you know, around the property, but nothing major around the property.
So the farmers own the property and you all.
In our current hemp production
Yes.
model. Yep. So they own the ground and they'll rotate through hemp with corn, beans, and everything else.
So what exactly do y'all do at exit 45? Is that just a processing? of
Yeah,
it and
drying.
sending it out?
Drying and separating the plant from install seed and floor care.
So is your interest right now, help me, it's been 3 days since we talked. Is your interest in producing or processing, or both?
Just cultivation, so production, indoor production. You can only go for one, either cultivation, processing, or dispensary. And cultivation would fit in our model.
So y'all have the greenhouses available to do that now?
Yeah, we have that, what used to be the car museum building, it's a 12,000 square foot warehouse space. So that would fit for that 10,000 square foot, tier 2 license. And obviously all indoor and enclosed and secure. You wouldn't really be able to see it, anything different, you know, it just would look like the same building. There would probably be some additional security things that you would see if you knew what to look for, but.
You ever been out there?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think, you know, for us, it's just if it goes to ballot or the county opts out, we may lose the opportunity or we may not, you know, it's just, it's kind of, if it goes to ballot, we just won't know, we just have to apply and hope and see what the people in the county think.
When we talked on the phone, just for everybody that knows what we talked about, I was the person that made the original motion to ban medical marijuana from the county,
All licenses.
which is all licensed. You can't say, well, we'd like for him to reduce, and you ban it all, or you accept it all. My problem that I have with it is I don't want a dispensary in the county. For various reasons. If we do that, we open the door for potentially bringing some people into the community that play the system and, may not necessarily require medical marijuana, but play the system like any system is played to get it. So there's my problem with it, okay, is that we ban it. My motion was because I didn't want to dispensary. I'm not totally opposed to somebody like you that, under regulations, growing it, because I don't think you're gonna bring people into the community for the wrong reasons if you're allowed to grow it, okay? So I'm torn, on what to do. I'm kinda leaning out, let the voters of the county decide. That's where I'm kinda leaning towards it, after talking to you on Friday. I still don't want dispensaries in the community. I just tell you up front, I do not want a dispensary in the community. If we don't go forward with this ordinance, we have the potential of a dispensary coming. So, do I think really they would come here? I don't think so, because our population's not big enough to bring a dispensary, I don't think. But that's where I stand right now, okay? So,
I know I talked to the other gentleman, I cannot recall his name.
Yeah, I think Dan
Dan.
called. I
Okay.
think he was just trying to get information.
Yes,
Then
we
we
had
through
a,
to him and he was, oh, hi.
yeah, we had a really good conversation, and I know I didn't get to talk to you. I'm in the same position as Magistrate Sutton in regards to, I also voted for the prohibition of all licenses. But the more that I thought about it and talking to other judge executives and other fiscal courts across the state, including cities and mayors, I feel it's the public should have the opportunity to weigh in, and the state just passes it down and expects the local governments to handle everything. And it's the one controlled substance or prescription medication that we're gonna regulate. You know, your Schedule 1, 2, 3, and 4 are in a pharmacy, but they want us to control this one. And I have an issue with that with the state, like, if you're gonna do it, put it with a pharmacy. And if I understand, if the federal government goes from a 1 to a 3, then it could be in a pharmacy. So it's like, wait for the feds to put it down, you know, so it can be in a pharmacy. But I'm leaning a lot more towards allowing the public to vote on it, because that is our constitutional rights, and I think they should vote as to whether or not they want it or not. But I think it'll be a lot of
not gonna buy their paper in the dispenser or everything, go right down to the gas station, as soon as they leave, you buy the paper. There's a lot of loopholes in this, in my mind. So,
Yeah, if I could comment on that, it's crazy what loopholes federally, you've got people buying marijuana on the internet and getting it shipped to them.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, we don't participate in any of that because it's ludicrous, but, I mean, the only benefit to this is that at least it's regulated, right? I mean, that's literally just, you could go on the internet and order it, and it shows up at your door, it could be covered in pesticide, mold, whatever, you know, obviously, the feds are starting to take a look at that, and they rightfully so, but it's, the loopholes in general are insane. And I'm in the business, and we do things correctly, so it's kind of like, I see all these other people that are doing these things, and it's like,
Well, it's knowing what the THC content is and what's being produced, because that's one thing the state has not provided us on any of the slides, is how much THC is actually in it. Alcohol, you know what the per se limit is, if for driving under the influence is 0.08, but we don't know what the marijuana, is gonna be, or what the THC is gonna be, and so there's a lot there, for that aspect, for law enforcement especially, and the regulation of it as well.
yeah.
Well, I'm like the rest of them, I mean, I voted not to have it in our county as well. But I'm like Magistrate Sutton that, I'm torn, but, if we leave it up to the voters and let them decide if they want it in the county or not. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again, it's going to be manipulated. And it's going to be hard to me, I think, for the sheriff department. But sometimes I think, who's high, who's not, I mean, I just think it's gonna be hard for them, so. But that's where I stand on it, so, to me, I leave it up to the voters.
I don't think the General Assembly did this gentleman or anybody that's considering applying
Any justice.
any favors here by putting this condensed timetable into motion. For one, you're expecting him, his company, to put out a significant outlay on the hope that you may get a license. And you give the legislative bodies and municipalities and fiscal boards a limited amount of time to decide. And then, on the backside of a referendum by the voters, there's not very much time at all. And so I think it's almost set up for failure in that respect. I'm a little bit concerned about that. The only thing I would say to this gentleman, we've had very little complaints in this gentleman's facility at age 45. He's met me before, but I mean, as far as his business, we've had a couple issues, but very limited issues. The only thing I would say is if it all falls in place and he gets a license and he's allowed, the thing I would say too, to be transparent with you, is I would love to see your security be enhanced even more, and I would expect that considerably, and I would even ask the fiscal court to consider that in any ordinances, much like we've done with solar farms and different things, and what we've asked them to do, not to restrict him to be able to be in business in that business, but just from the standpoint of a security situation, especially where he's sitting and what comes in and off of that interstate. I think that would be imperative to protect your business interest as well as protect our community.
Are the regulations, laws in place of how much security you're supposed to have when you produce? Do you know? I haven't seen that, if there is.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of requirements. You basically need to have a security plan that meets all of that as part of the application. So we've got about 3 weeks to put it all together.
So part of your application process is showing how your security. Is that part of
Yeah,
it?
security plan is a big part.
Is security better than the hemp plan? Because the hemp plan was pretty lax in days told you very much so.
Yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna spend a lot of money on that, I mean, we'll have to have 24/7,
I was gonna say, it had, the legislation had quite a bit of regulations in the security of it.
That's the only concern I have for his type of license that he would be trying to get.
Would you have to put up a security fence around it?
Yeah, typically, yeah, I mean, you know, we're against the highway there, it's just got that kind of the,
Keeping people off the interstate from wanting to come in.
yeah, and that's always been a concern. I mean,
We've had one incident, well, we've had one incident of that happening at his facility.
somebody parked on the highway,
Yeah.
on the hill, but I mean, it was the first year they realized
That's
it
right.
wasn't marijuana, and they're like, oh, oops, you know. We're pretty sure it was one of our employees too, we never saw him again, so, yeah, inside job,
My concern with putting a question on the ballot, and I'm not in the board, I just keep the minutes, but, this is a presidential election. We have 2 constitutional amendments already on the ballot. We have 3 of school boards, and it's a lengthy ballot. It's gonna take the voter longer time to navigate that ballot. And so my concern is, you know, put another question, I've already got it for the city of Catawba precincts, it's already on there. So this would be an additional question on an already lengthy ballot. So that would be my concern. Not that people don't have the choice to choose, but the fact that this is a unique, historic election.
Would it go to another page?
It could.
It could.
Would that, you know how much that would cost? Just offhand?
It's just the cost of the ballot, I don't know, but it would be, because we all are, you know, 100% paper ballots, and you start putting ballots and questions on the back of a ballot, then that increases your, people don't see the back of the ballot, they don't vote it, or they spoil it because they've got questions, they don't do it, you know, you can only have 3 ballots. So I see just the logistics of big turnout, more time, you know, that would be my concern.
So what's the verbiage, do you know, what's it, how does it read if you put it on?
You have to decide that.
We have to decide,
Yeah.
because I've read a lot of constitutional amendments, and I'll read them. If I didn't know how I was gonna vote when I went in there, I would have no idea what it was. I read it.
We have 2 constitutional amendments that I've seen the verbiage on them, and it is very lengthy. One constitutional amendment is to codify our constitution, and take the constitution on immigrations that, you know, illegal immigrants or immigrants cannot register to vote. And then the second one is on school choice.
So it would read, are you in favor of the sale of medicinal cannabis at a licensed dispensary and the operation of other cannabis businesses in Lyon County? Yes or no?
That's the same verbiage for city of Catawba, essentially.
And the deadline to do that is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I have to send that, tomorrow is the deadline to add anything like that onto the ballot.
Trying to pull up that cultivator to give you all that information.
And I'm not aware if the city of Danville was doing it or not.
I think I haven't heard anything yet. Well, you know, I'm not gonna make a deadline for tomorrow.
So if the city of Eddyville doesn't do it, then you can get them to annex you in.
So they have to have employment policies and procedures, security and pleadings, staff identification, monitoring, alarm systems, video surveillance, monitoring and tracking of the inventory, personal security, transportation of the municipal cannabis, and how to properly secure it in the event of a traffic collision or transport vehicle malfunction, cash management and anti-fraud procedures, storage of seed, seedlings, etc. I mean, and it goes on and on, I'm reading from the actual law that was passed. You know, they have to have the process of receiving, growing, cultivating, harvesting, handling, packaging, labeling, storing, transporting, and disposing of the then the list goes on and on.
Matt, do you know an estimated cost, what it's gonna cost you to get started?
It's millions, multiple, just depends on how deluxe we end up doing it. And we'll probably try to do it, we're definitely gonna do it correctly. We'll probably not try to overspend, because that's where a lot of companies like this die. They just overspend and they can't service that debt, so. But I would say off the cuff, you know, 3 million at least. And obviously there's jobs, things that go along with the construction.
And yours is the 10,000 square foot, is what you're gonna do.
It would be tier 2, yeah, that's the biggest that we would be able to do. There's one bigger that I think is 20, but I don't think they're gonna.
There's 2,500, 10, 25,000, and 50,000. There's no 50,000. There's 10, 2,500, 4, 10,000, and 2, 25,000. So he's one of,
You said this building's 10 or 12,000 square feet.
not 12, he's applying for 10,000.
Well, it's 10K, and I'll spend,
Per, okay.
I'll spend 10 to do all the application, do all that stuff. It's 10 for the state, and 10 for the, SOE, just getting everything together for next week.
And they don't get, do you get any of that back, or is there a $5,000 refund that you would get if you're not?
No refunds, no,
I
I
couldn't
did ask
remember.
that question, because Quinn asked me that, I asked that question, I did that research. We wouldn't be eligible for any refunds on it.
But when you apply for that and pay the money, are you guaranteed a license? Or you're not?
No, it goes in a lottery. If he passes everything with the state, they will put their business in a lottery, and it's drawn actually by, I think, the Kentucky Lottery. Their system is what they use.
We did hear that, and this is what got our attention, we heard that, like, reputable head businesses, like actual production businesses, that being cultivation and processing, may actually get some sort of priority prior to the lottery, because the state was concerned that if they put those high capex businesses into a lottery, that people that weren't truly qualified would get them, and that it would just be a situation where it was a waste of time. So they're saying, they haven't said exactly how to prioritize, but they did say that hemp businesses would get some priority from in the production side.
And
And that made us feel a little bit more like, wow, we might actually get one.
how long have y'all been in business?
We started the business in November of 2017. And so we've been at the facility available since, September 2018.
Lori, go back to the ballot. What determines what goes first? Will this be the last thing on the ballot, or, I mean, how do you make the determination of
I would assume such. I don't know.
who makes that
Who
decision?
makes that, yeah?
That would be the state board of regulations, I'm assuming.
You know?
I would say that too, yeah, it's, I mean, usually constitutional amendments go first.
But, yeah,
Just like
you can have-
all the federal stuff goes first on the ballot, then your state stuff, then your local stuff. I can't see it being any different.
I don't think we would have a choice on placement on the ballot.
You know, I think that'd be, should be chosen for us.
Okay, so if we put it on the ballot, and the people that work the homes, are they allowed to say to every person that comes to the door, hey, there is a question on the back? You need to be aware that there's front and back.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that people are gonna listen.
You know, I mean.
It'll take education
We
to
can
the
tell them,
public.
we can tell them what's on there, but we just can tell them
How it works.
exactly where, what it is.
Because with this being, presidential, they're concerned, I mean, they're coming to the polls because of the presidential election, not because of the constitutional amendment. And, or they may be coming, locals will be coming because we've got 2, 3, and 4 school board running. I just know people, and Bobby's worked the polls, and Jamie has worked the polls. And it's, when they're in that voting booth, and they're casting their ballot, and they're doing this, they're, a lot of times, they're just coming in and doing one, and trying to vote it, and go, oh, shoot, there's one on the back, call it, if you all vote to put it on the ballot, they're gonna have it on there twice.
That will be.
And so then you've got that aspect of it, and it's just, yeah, I'm concerned, but again, I'll make sure the people have it that need to have it and get it on the ballot, so that's my job, so. And we'll try to train our election officers, you know, encourage everybody to vote early.
What would you like to, who is making the motion, and what would you like your motion to accomplish? So if you don't take any further action on Lyon County, Kentucky ordinance number 08/2024, then it will not become adopted. That was the original ordinance that you considered. Should you choose to pass a resolution, as is required in order to put it on the ballot, then you would make a motion to approve the first reading of Lyon County, Kentucky Resolution -07/2024, and then I will read it. Correct, it's a one-shot.
It's the same page.
The same page.
They're identical, they're straight from the state site, the state provided the verbiage.
Well, I make a motion, we put it on the ballot.
You make a motion to approve and adopt resolution number 07/2024.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion by Bobby to approve and adopt resolution 07-2024, which will put the medical cannabis verbiage on the November ballot. Do we have a second? I'll second.
This will be the first and only reading of Lyon County Resolution 07/2024. Because this is a resolution, I will be reading this only one time this evening in a summary form. A complete copy of this resolution is available in the office of the Lyon County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Lyon County, Kentucky Resolution 07/2024 is a resolution authorizing a referendum to determine whether cannabis business operations may occur in the county of Lyon. Whereas on April 15th, 24, the Kentucky General Assembly adopted House Bill 829, signed into law by the governor. On April 17th, 2024, amending KRS Chapter 218B, the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Chapter. And whereas 218B 130 authorizes local governments to pass resolutions directing that the question of prohibiting cannabis businesses from operating within its territory be submitted to the voters of its territory at the next regular election. And whereas the county of Lyon wishes to utilize the authority granted to it by KRS 218B 130 to direct that the question of prohibiting cannabis businesses from operating within the county of Lyon be submitted to the voters of Lyon County at the next general election. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court of Lyon County as follows. I'll draw your attention down to section 2. Pursuant to KRS 218B 130 sub 2, part A, sub 2, and KRS 218B 130 sub 3, part B, the Lyon County Fiscal Court hereby resolves that the question of prohibiting cannabis businesses from operating within the county of Lyon be submitted to the voters of Lyon County at the next regular election in accordance with the language of KRS 218B 133 sub B. The question that would appear on the ballot shall read, are you in favor of the sale of medicinal cannabis at a licensed dispensary in the operation of other cannabis businesses in Lyon County, Kentucky? Yes or no? Section 3, this resolution shall be effective upon its enactment by the County of Lyon. This has been the first and only reading of Lyon County, Kentucky Resolution 07-2024.
Bobby,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
myself, yes. Jeff Fowler is absent.
I'll get you a final copy.
Motion passed. Yeah, we'll get,
I gotta send it.
I gotta send it first thing, yes. Alright. Matt, we appreciate you being here as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for your thoughtful consideration. Clearly, you guys thought through it very well. We really appreciate it.
And like I said, it'll be educate, and I'll start putting it on the county's Facebook page and getting, so that people understand, so that it's,
Yeah.
because that ballot's gonna be long. If you haven't seen Amendment 1 and 2, it's long.
Yeah, I understood that concern as well.
Yes. Alright, you should have a list of transfers for the month. Entertain a motion to accept the transfers as printed. If you have any questions, let me know.
So,
Alright, motion by Quinn, second by Bobby. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. Clerk, you should have the finance officer's report, the treasurer's report, the sheriff's report. I don't have yours, Lori. Did I miss yours? You got, there it is. Sorry, it was stuck to the other one. And the clerk's report. Do you deem those received?
Do we have any interfund transfers?
No interfund transfers, just
Judge, I'm
transfer
sorry.
expenditures by date.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I add anything to the sheriff's office report?
Yes. They said that.
I've got another meeting to go after this, you guys are waiting for me. I told you all last meeting that I would not be extending the tax collection schedule like we did last year, starting in November. I haven't got a chance to talk to the judge, but I had a board member of the school board come to me today to lobby me to back it up to November so they could raise rates again. I told him that my intention was to keep my word. He then asked a couple of questions, and I have done half of that work, and I'm gonna do the other half. I talked with the judge afterwards, but I told him essentially I thought there was a lot of reasons why I did last year authorize that. This year the tax assessment was certified on July the 11th of plenty of time, and I felt like it would cause the county to be a cash flow situation, be delayed a month from that money, and I just did not feel like the benefit outweighed the issues that it would cause my office, even though, the collection was about the same, but more people used credit cards last year, and I like that extra month where it doesn't hit people at Christmas as bad, and it gives our county additional cash flow for a month that other counties don't get. So, for those purposes, I'm still gonna do what I told him I would do in talking to you, at the conclusion of this meeting, but, that's the only taxing district that's contacted me, and I didn't expect that from him, but I did talk to the head of that board, and he said he was speaking as an individual, not as the board as a whole.
So that means it'll be over the 4%.
That's if they wanted to do that. I don't know what their intentions, truly are, what they'll vote for, but, that was what they were wanting to do, or this particular board member was wanting to do, is the way I understood it. And I'm not at this point obligated to extend the schedule out like we did last year.
Thank you for that information, and as well, I believe I sent all of y'all a message that, the sheriff's office did get a little over, or just shy of 12,000 for body armor.
Thank you for the help on that as well.
So, that'll help
Yep.
tremendously there. claims.
I don't know if we can ask this or not, do we have an update on the tractor, what's going on with it?
So they changed some seals and some other things today, and, Jason was supposed to know more this afternoon. The gentleman actually called him on Saturday. That's the new tractor. But I was gone to pad the rest of the day, and I have not got a chance to talk to Jason. But he did get that notification on Saturday, and he was appreciative that they called him on Saturday. Yes, and our next meeting will be, special call meeting will be Monday, August the 26th. Currently a public hearing at 4:30, and then fiscal court at 5 in regards to the Lyon County real property, tangible, and motor vehicle watercraft tax rate.
You said 4:30, public hearing, 5 p.m.
Yes. Any questions on the claims, deem those to be paid? Alright, claims to be paid. Anything from the magistrates?
Nope, appreciate everybody that works for the county, what they do, keeping the county in good shape. I do apologize on my district about bush hogger, I mean, we're down one tractor, so it's just gonna take a while to get the roads bush hogged, so.
So we're on the lines. Alright, no executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Bobby and second by Quinn. All in favor, please?
Anybody want to talk, secretary, y'all can go over.
There, and Mark, just like to ask you